Pat Foley with Bernie Federko in Atlanta. The Knights trying to win the Turner Cup tonight. They have a 2-1 lead over Fort Wayne as we get ready for the third period. Shots on goal through 2. 18 total shots for the home team, the Atlanta Knights, and Fort Wayne has mustered up 16 shots on goal at the other end. And Bruce Boudreau trying to cajole and push and prod and do whatever he can to get the equalizer at least from his squad here in the third.
One thing, Pat, that Atlanta can't do is try to sit on a one-goal lead. Certainly they got to continue to forecheck. They've got to continue to do what they have to do to try to stay in Fort Wayne's end as much as they can. As the longer you sit back in your own defensive zone, sooner or later you're going to get a turnover, you're going to get an unlucky bounce, and you could end up in your own zone. So I look to see Atlanta try to take the play to Fort Wayne.
Let me turn the tables on you. If you are Fort Wayne, what approach are you taking? You led the league in goals. How do you approach this third period?
Well, again, I think you got to play a cautious game. You certainly have got plenty of time to get the equalizer. You don't want to go and open up and have two guys start racing towards the net.
Julia scores! And Julia with a backhander. He was in a one-on-one situation and ripped the backhander for the third goal for Atlanta. A shot that is a lost art in many professional hockey players, but the Knight captain Julia takes it 3-1.
Well, what a way to start the third period. A 2-1 game. We just finished talking about it, and we've talked about Stan Drulia the whole series. This guy's the heart and soul. And 16 seconds into the period, here he goes. He goes around, and all he does is fire a high backhand shot over the glove of Peter Sidorkiewicz. A burst of speed. He blows by Dan Lambert, and what a great backhander up top. And all of a sudden, we have a 3-1 lead for Atlanta, something that Fort Wayne did not want to have. And look at the crowd into it now.
13th playoff goal for Stan Drulia. And now the Knights. Again, Bernie, to me, you got to sit here and say, this may be a similar situation to the start of the game for the home team. You're up, but it's only 2 goals. You can't get too carried away here.
With all the changes of leads in this series that I've seen, they certainly can't put their head down on the bench at Fort Wayne. But always, we said that earlier, Pat, is that you don't even want to get scored against the first minute or the last minute of the period, because all of a sudden it either sets the tone for the rest of the period or sets the tone for the next period. And that certainly has set the tone, and exactly what we said is that we certainly wanted to make sure that Atlanta was going to take the play. And you can bet that John Parrish told the guys, let's not sit back and try to hold lead, let's take it to them. And who listens the best? But the captain of the club, Stan Drulia. He's a leader. He goes out there and scores a goal 16 seconds into the period.
He knows what to do with the biscuit when he gets to 248 goals in the last 5 years. And what a terrific backhand shot there to make it a 2-goal lead. Here's Medill. He almost added to it, but shot wide. And Campo held it in. Now the Komets need to get settled down. Dupuis safely clearing it to center ice. And it's shot right back in. Dupuis. The pass off the stick of Chin. And now Dupuis got to it again, and he'll throw it in. Rivers got a rough ride behind the net from Darren Smith. But the Knights come up with a puck, and they move it to center ice. McDougal gets over the line, gets around to check, cuts in. He shot it just through the goal crease. And the Komets Purvis able to work his way back to the offensive zone, but lost the handle there. And the Knights throw it down the length. It'll be an icing call against Atlanta.
Atlanta continues to put the pressure on, and a great move by Bill McDougal, who's full of life after going a couple of games without scoring a goal. He's got that goal tonight, but he makes a great move on Richardson and is able to go wide, and then tried to cut to the net. Wasn't able to knock it underneath. Didn't get really any wood on it. It slid off the end of his skate. Or a stick, I should say. But again, Atlanta continues to take the play to Fort Wayne. We've only played a minute and a half in this period, but certainly a lot of smiles on that Atlanta bench, and I guess there should be, but they got to make sure they don't smile until the final buzzer goes, and they have got the game won.
Well, I know there was one game in this series where a team had a 5-0 lead and lost, and so you never know.
And certainly Atlanta had a 2-0 lead the other night in Fort Wayne going into the second period.
Davison alongside, great save by Greenlay. And the rebound kicked loose behind the net. Fletcher on it. He lost it. And it's cleared to the near side and out to center.
Another couple of great scoring chances again as Atlanta does. They can smell it right now. They continue to go to Sidorkiewicz, and they're getting a lot of pressure on him. Fort Wayne has got to get the tables turned if they're going to get back in this game. There's certainly no reason to start sending 5 guys in, but they got to get some composure back.
Tanguay racing in there, but was stopped now, carried on. Here's Drulia. Trying to center it, hits the skate, and Boyce failed to get it out. LaRouche bounced one in deep. Now control by the Komets. They try to clear. Davison finally does. And it winds up deep in the Atlanta zone. Boyce. A rough ride in the corner. He battles heavily there with Sharon. Puck came loose along the boards and out to center where Drulia rolled it back into the Fort Wayne into the ice. And Lambert for the Komets works his way in over the line, unloads, and he didn't get the shot through. A block made at the Atlanta defense, and back come the Knights. Oh, and rich shot from Campo up off the glass. Corralled by Smith for the Komets. He gave it to Dupuis, and now Chin. Colin Chin rolled it in there. Smith looking to center and was unable to do so, and McDougall captures for the home team and tries to get it out and does. Medill fought off a check, got to the line. Smith knocked him down there. Good recovery defensively by Darren Smith. And he got it back in the neutral zone. They are almost all standing here in the Omni in Atlanta. I'm not sure anybody is still in their seats. All the fans are on their feet here. And they're cheering every hit, every pass. They can smell it here in the Omni. Still, we haven't even played 5 minutes yet here in this third period. 3-1 in favor of the Knights. Now McDonald put it into the Atlanta zone. LaPuma tipped it loose and it's cleared back into the Fort Wayne zone where Middendorf will take over for the Komets.
And again, Atlanta, all they do is continue to get it out of their zone and get it in deep and then do quick changes. They're doing a great job with it.
So you have to feel, Bernie, I imagine that even though the Komets led the league in goals, they're up against the best goals against team in the IHL here tonight in Atlanta. And that team, the Knights, has a 2-goal lead early in the third. It's 3-1 for the Knights, and here's Ruff chasing down a loose puck, and let's see, we have a whistle, and a stop in the play, a hand pass called against Atlanta.
Well, the good news for Fort Wayne right now, as you said earlier, Pat, is that they've got 9 guys on this club that have scored 20 goals or more during the year, so they've got a lot of balanced offense, and there's Sidorkiewicz, who has stopped some decent rubber tonight, and he got another big save off Tanguay here. As you see, a pass out goes through him. He's able to get his stick back and knock it towards the corner, but a 4th goal certainly would have really hurt Fort Wayne's comeback chances, but again, another great save by Sidorkiewicz.
Bernie, we mentioned it earlier. We should say it again, though, because it's so important in terms of the Komets' fortunes here. Yes, they have a lot of good goal scorers, but they are missing 2 of them tonight who are huge players for them. Mitch Messier, a 33-goal year. Vladimir Siplikov, a 31-goal season. Neither of them able to play because of injury here, and that really has Bruce Boudreau's team behind the 8 ball.
Well, anytime you take 64 goals out of your lineup over the course of a year, you're really going to hurt a lot for it, and certainly they're feeling not only the effects of the guys not being in lineup, but the chemistry that the guys have on each line. Mitch Messier, a big part of their club. Again, that was a big leader in the playoffs so far this year. Siplikov, 6 goals and 8 assists, 14 points in 14 games. I mean, that certainly has got to hurt Purvis and Chin, who have not been able to get that chemistry back with whoever's playing that other wing with them. And certainly, with Mitch Messier, 8 goals and 6 assists, another 14 points that is out of the lineup, and that certainly has got to have an effect on Bruce Boudreau's club.
Eric Sharon. Montreal drafted this kid in the first round a few years ago. He wound up being property of the Tampa Bay Lightning because he was involved in the Rob Ramage trade. Now here come the Komets. Davidson got to the line, lost it there, and back into the Komet zone it goes.
And again, Atlanta playing a perfect 2-goal lead game. Right now, they're taking away the neutral zone. They've got a trap set, which means that the wingers are coming back. They're only sending in one forechecker, and the defensemen are standing up in the middle of the net, or the ice, I should say, and it's really hard to get any pressure. The only way you can get anything going, you're going to have to dump it in and try to forecheck. That's the only way you're going to get through it.
McDougal a drive off the goal post. McDougal raised his stick, too. He thought he had scored, but it hit the pipe and came away. Back into the Atlanta zone, captured by the Knights' Jeff Buchanan. And a clearing effort to flex up into the crowd.
One thing that John Paris has really done with his club is he had made them very aware of their defensive play. John Paris, in junior in the Quebec League, took a team to the best defensive record in the league when he coached in Quebec. As we look at McDougal's shot that goes off the right post, and he had Sidorf was clearly beat. And from this angle, you can see he was too far into the center of the net, and it hit the right post and came out the wrong way for Atlanta, the right way for Fort Wayne. But certainly a perfect 2-goal lead game the way Atlanta's playing right now, and they certainly have got a lot of pride in their defensive game, and they did it all year. They had the best goals against average in the league in the entire IHL this year, and they're proving it again tonight.
Richardson's pass deflecting back into the neutral zone, and Purvis got to it along the board. Well, it couldn't advance it. McDougal working hard, able to take it away. And bang it into the offensive zone where the pass hits the skate and Purvis comes away for Chin. Colin Chin gets the line, looks for Purvis, didn't connect, and great coverage again by Atlanta, as you pointed out, and now an offside call.
Well, this is really interesting. This is the way Atlanta wanted to play, as we talked to John Paris after this game when they got the 2-goal lead in Fort Wayne. And it's always harder on the road. There's no question about it. It's hard to hold a lead on the road when you got the home fans involved. If the home team gets a goal, everything seems to turn. But that gentleman right there has done a fine job. And as Richard Adler made us aware that he was really hired at first to take over the Atlanta Fire Ants, the new roller hockey team that's going to play here for Roller Hockey International. And all of a sudden he got this job, and he may win his first Turner Cup, which would be a real feather in his hat.
Hear about a lot of hockey players who want to stay involved in the game after they are done playing, and you look at these two coaches behind the respective benches. Both of them seem to be a little taller than their hair.
That's what coaching does.
Oh, I'll tell you, you got that right. Mr. Roller Hockey Coach.
I don't think there's much of a chance of my hair going out, but I may go gray.
Early in the third, 3-1, Atlanta. Along with former NHL All-Star and a man who's had his sweater number retired by the St. Louis Blues, Bernie Federko, the fabled number 24 for St. Louis. This is Pat Foley in Atlanta. The Knights with a 3-2 lead in the series and a 3-1 lead here as we approach the midway point of the third period. Lucic for the Komets. That is stripped away by Julia. Bouncing around, Lucic feathered one ahead. Middendorf is onside, spins, centers. Here's a backhander and a save by Greenlay. Rebound to the near point. Lucic held it in then, had it poke checked by the ever-present LaRouche. And that took care of that flurry. Well, the few times Fort Wayne looked like they might get something going in the offensive end.
Greenlay again comes up. He's ready. He's been real sharp. He hasn't been tested really in this period at all, but he's been real sharp throughout the game.
Now Purvis in the corner. Couldn't come out with it. Chin does. And leaves it for Smith. He's locked up, and now Purvis came away for Chin. They worked the wheel, but great coverage again by Atlanta. Chin got knocked down and was unable to make a play because of it.
One thing that Atlanta's got to remember is that all they have to do is keep dumping it out with the lead like this, get it in, get it deep, because sooner or later Fort Wayne's going to have to start taking chances. And when chances are taken, Pat, as always, you end up with breakdowns, 2-on-1s, and even breakaways. So Atlanta's certainly in a good position right now.
We'll have a face-off coming in the Fort Wayne end of the ice, and the Komets, we talk about the uphill battle they have, not only all the injuries and the number one team in goals against, they have to try to come back against this Atlanta team spotless on home ice in the playoffs. They won all 6 games they played here.
Well, they really have a lot of pride, and I can see by just the crowd, the way the crowd reacts here. They love hockey here. It's been a long time since I've been in this building. Last time with the Blues back in '77 when we played the Flames. So certainly the people love are hockey starved, and they're certainly enjoying, and they're bringing a lot of fans in here and making these guys awful excited about playing.
The old Atlanta Flames just always had pretty good teams, could never win a playoff series though, and many people feel that was one of their big downfalls. A lot of talk around NHL circles that Turner would like to put an NHL team in here, and there are certainly a couple of big league teams that are in some difficulty financially, and he may be able to get some good pickings here in the next couple of years.
You think he has enough money though?
Oh, there's a chance.
You know what the guys will be doing between periods? The Jane Fonda video, too. They'll be doing the exercises. But, you know, there's so many, you know, you were talking about earlier before we went on about your good friend Tom Lysiak, the former first-round pick of the Atlanta Flames, way back in, I believe, 1975 or 74. No, it would have been
earlier, about 72 or 3, I think. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I started playing junior in 73, and that's when, so his draft pick would have been, draft year was 1973, who still resides here in Atlanta. I know Kurt Bennett, another player that's still here. They love Atlanta, and I'm sure they'd all love to see another NHL team come here.
The bomber, Tommy Lysiak, all set and poised to take every nickel I brought with me tomorrow on the golf course, which he usually does, but a great guy and what a great NHL player he was. You locked horns with him more than once, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And he was a tough guy to lock horns with. The guy was a very, very, very good hockey player, hard-nosed. He could do it all, and he had a great career with the Blues, with both the Flames and with the Blackhawks.
The attendance here tonight, and it is an all-time IHL playoff record. And as soon as we get the exact number, we'll give it to you. But they have more than 10,000 here, and this tonight is the biggest crowd ever to witness an International Hockey League playoff game.
And I think they're all cheering right now because we can't hear anything.
Just about halfway through the third, 3-1 Atlanta. And the draw now controlled by the Knights. Dubois put it around the boards and lines up at center ice. On the stick of Richardson. Grant Richardson. Will bounce one into the Atlanta zone. Evan Edgerton took a hack at it, and on a second chance able to come up with it, clearing to center. Here comes Tanguay over the line, racing in there, the shot, and a save by Federko, and he hangs on, and this kid Tanguay really has wheels if his hands ever catch up to his feet, which is the case. I'm sure you've seen many NHLers that were a little slow to develop. Their wheels were so good, the thought process in the hands was a little behind in their early years. That was Mark Messier's story.
Exactly.
But this kid really can fly.
Yes, he can. He has done it all tonight. He scored a goal, and I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him, but here he shows his speed as he goes around Richardson, and he's got a lot of muscle too. And Sidorkiewicz has to come up with a big save. But again, you see guys like that, really a 7th-round draft pick back in '92. He's only 21 years old. There's a lot of time for him to develop. And it's really nice when you see a guy like John Paris, who's had a lot of junior experience coaching these guys. He's going to be able to help all these young kids.
Max Middendorf was once traded for Bill McDougall of the Atlanta team. Middendorf gets it in there, hacked it toward the net, and swept in behind. Now a centering pass hits the skate, and the Knights come up with it in a rough, took a hit, but couldn't get it out, bouncing loose. Oh, and it just slipped away from Wickenheiser, and it winds up at the Fort Wayne line. Wickenheiser. Get in there. To run around the boards, and Julius safely cleared it into the other end.
Again, great coverage in their own zone. All they're doing is banging around the boards and getting it out. They're gaining zones. You can't get scored against if you're not in your own zone. And that's what they keep doing. The guys are deep in the boards, and they're just deflecting it past the defenseman of the Fort Wayne Komets that are standing up and trying to keep the puck in.
Lusick for Fort Wayne had the misfortune. His dogs have been lost. They were putting out public service announcements on the Fort Wayne radio tonight, hoping that somebody would find his dog. And he's got more than that on his mind now. Here's a backhander up off the glass, off the stick of Dupuis. Into the corner, Boyce. He sidesteps the hit from LaPuma. But the puck squirts away, not out. Davison a long shot, didn't get through, and deflects to the neutral zone. Dupuis has some trouble with it, but managed to recover. Then lost it to McDougall. He rolled it ahead. Here's Medill with a long shot, and Fedorkovich got a piece with the glove. Down to 8 minutes left now in the third period. 3-1 Atlanta.
This is where Fort Wayne's going to have to start taking some chances. They're going to have to get the fourth guy up the ice with them, the defensemen who are not known, any of them, except for Lambert, of being offensive at all. They're going to have to start taking some chances and moving along up with the play.
And Cummins with a blast. That goes up a leg and just over the stick of Edgerton. Cummins looks to counter. Purvis looks for Chin. Good stand-up play at the line by Norman Rochefort. 12-year NHL man, Rochefort clears it ahead. Here's a chance for the Knights. And it just rolled away from Julius. He tried to go to the backhand, then centered. Rochefort looking to bank it to the front of the net, but it came softly off the boards instead, and now Chin has it. Colin Chin surrounded as he got to the line, unable to advance it. And now an offside call made against Fort Wayne. Down to 7 minutes remaining. The clock ticking in favor of the Knights and against the Komets. It's 3-1 for the home team. In the first period, we had a near disaster when the trumpeter clawed the happy trumpeter, almost broke his neck, went crashing through the plexiglass. He's back.
And he's got the trumpet in hand.
Taking a hit to make a play. Clawed.
I hope he gets twice as much money as they offered him. And I hope they have workers' comp.
And I hope his insurance is paid up. Well, the crowd noticed him here, and he got a great roar as he reappeared here in the Omni.
I think it was louder than the goals.
Claude, the happy trumpeter. Well, you've seen him before. He works in Quebec City and Lake Coliseum, and I think he's appeared in other NHL towns. I've seen him in other cities as well, but here for the IHL Turner Cup Championship, Claude, the happy trumpeter, has his instrument in hand, and he's belting out the tune.
Now that guy really loves his job.
I'll tell you what, you can talk about Satchmo Armstrong all you want. I'm not sure he ever played with a neck brace.
Next time we see him, he'll be playing on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
I think he'll be playing in Peachtree Street in about an hour here. Well, the Atlanta Knights, with 7 minutes left in the third, have limited Fort Wayne to 18 total shots on goal, just 2 here in the third. And they have done a terrific defensive job to not only preserve but add to the lead they took into this period. Lusick tried to center, nobody home in front of the net for the Komets. Now Wickenheiser rolled it in there deep. And a misplay by Greenlay, and finally he had to sprawl to cover it up as he had difficulty corralling it.
Again, we talked about goalies stay in the net. It's a 3-1 lead. Leave the puck alone. You got defensemen back. You got everybody in your own zone, and it was almost a costly mistake again. He had to get that puck across the goal line back to the front of the goal line, or he could have got called on a penalty. But a breakdown finally in the defensive zone, and again, Greenlay goes to play it, misses it, and he's lucky he got that puck ahead of the goal line, or he could have got a 2-minute penalty for delay of game. But he's lucky that one of the Fort Wayne guys wasn't ready to jab that glove and get that puck into the net. It would have been a real costly error.
And there goes Max Middendorf toward the Fort Wayne locker room. He is walking fine. I don't know if it's an equipment problem or a physical problem, but there's a big guy that the Komets could dearly use here down the stretch.
The way we've seen the leads change over the last few games, it's not over till it's over, and certainly Fort Wayne has got enough firepower to score a lot of goals yet, so I'm sure that they're not got their heads down. As we've watched Bruce Kruger on the bench giving some more orders, he's certainly not going to give up on this team.
Bernie, I'll tell you though, the way this Atlanta team has played here in the third, Katie bar the door, it's looking like it's going to take a fluke, a funny bounce, somebody get hit in the skate or in the rear end, and the Komets look like they're going to need a little bit of good fortune to get back in it.
Well, certainly, and that could certainly change, and anything's happened in this game, as you've seen many times, Pat. But again, they've been real solid this period, and the reason that they had the 2-goal lead is because they played so solid defensively. That
long point shot for the Komets, just their third shot on goal in 14 minutes of play here in period 3. Lee Davison over the line, trying to pick his way to the slot, now forced in behind the goal, and then LaPuma gets help from McDougall to clear it back into the Fort Wayne zone.
But what Atlanta has got to continue to do is they're certainly going to have to continue forechecking, because what they've been doing in the last couple of minutes at least, they haven't even sent a guy in, and they're all coming back, and when you don't come back...
Now a chance for Medill, walks to the slot, and just put it into the corner. He was at the end of the shift and wanted to make sure he could get some fresh legs out there.
Again, a real smart play, an unselfish play.
Yes,
these
sir.
guys are all playing together. They're playing one for all for one, and a real smart play. Instead of taking a chance, getting a shot, and maybe getting caught deep in the zone, he just dumped it in the corner, made the change, get a fresh guy out there.
Colin Chin, to Purvis. Purvis has 38 goals in the regular season. He stepped over the Atlanta line. Nothing doing on this attempted play by Dubois, who rubbed him off on the board. And it winds up back at center. Lucic has it there. The Chin, the captain of the Komets, gets the line, walks through it, checks, center one, here's a shot, and a save by Greenlay, and he manages to squeeze the pad tightly enough to keep it out of the net, and now some grappling around the goal.
It looks like we're going to have some penalty calls as Dan O'Halloran is motioning towards the box. Looks like he's going to send maybe a couple of guys off. Good possibility of it being Jim Cummins when he's out there, but certainly I don't know if there's one call or two calls or what, but it's certain, no, we are getting a cross check. We're going to see a cross check, and I'm really surprised to see something like this at this point in time. But Rochefort is going to go off with a cross check that I think happened behind the play, but another good pad save by Mike Greenlay, who was standing up in his face, and Rochefort got knocked down there, and ends up with a penalty. So I missed something there, but not a good time for a penalty. But everybody converged on the net, so the faceoff is going to come outside the line. But this could be the biggest 2 minutes of the Atlanta Flames season, and for the season of the Fort Wayne Komets. Their whole season could rely on getting a power play goal with under 5 minutes to go.
Well, you got to feel this is the ball game for Fort Wayne. They are, it appears to be in a must-convert situation. They have much hope against this strong defensive team.
Well, they haven't scored yet on the power play. As we said earlier, only one of those power play was only about 30 seconds, so they really only hit one complete one. So this will be a big power play for the Komets and a big penalty-killing effort for the Atlanta Knights.
And Lambert goes up the left side. Colin Chin gets it in there deep. The Knights able to come up with it. Sharon had some difficulty for a moment, but still managed to hang on and looking to clear. Truly a glove to the head, then got it by, I think, an inadvertent stick in the face. The Johnson. Now into the corner goes Fletcher. Steve Fletcher put it to the line. Davison able to keep it in.
Wasn't too many passes. Davison was in a great spot to shoot with no one in front of him, and he had his head down and he looked for a pass instead of blasting it.
Lambert back over the line. Half a minute for the power play. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here.
Steve Fletcher is going to go up. At least that's what everybody's looking for. Steve Fletcher looks like he's going to be the culprit, and not a good time to take a penalty, and Bruce Boudreau is not going to be happy about this, but with 30 seconds left, you're going to see here as he cuts to the middle, there it is. Fletcher grabs a hold of the stick, and that is definitely a call, and a good call by referee O'Halloran, because you cannot do that, and that's something that the league and the game of hockey is trying to stay away from, is the clutching and grabbing and grab a hold of someone's stick, and it's a great new call, a great new penalty that they forced everybody to call that, and it's a good call by the referee.
Once again, they're all on their feet here in the Omni. We're down to 3 minutes left with 4 skaters aside. Hurd lost the handle. And now Julia picks it up, unloads right on, and a save by Fedorkovic, well out to challenge the shooter. Now the Komets start back. Dupuis put it in there. Greenlay scoops it around the board. Edgerton unable to clear it. Now the road court penalty's over, and it's a power play situation for Atlanta. And they already have a 3-1 lead. Now the Knights Rivers comes motoring away. Clears it over the line. LaRouche feathered it ahead. Edgerton shooting right on, and a save by Fedorkovic. He gathers it in. He'll take a whistle. 2:15 to go in the third. Atlanta 3, Fort Wayne 1 on Prime. They're rocking, they're rolling. Who says hockey wouldn't make it in the South?
And one thing that Bruce Boudreau's got going for him is that Colin Chin scored 6 short-handed goals on the year this year. So he's out there right now, and he certainly has the ability to score a short-handed goal. So they're going to have to go for it right now. They're down the last 2 minutes, minute and 6 left on this power play. Atlanta's got to make sure they don't take any stupid chances, get the puck deep, but certainly try to score in the power play. Don't just sit back and let Fort Wayne bring the play to them.
Good hit by Cummins, forcing the puck loose. Now back to the goal, Fedorkovic. Wants it into the corner. Bouncing around. Medill has it on the near side, lets it go, and it's a puck to the goal mouth, and swept out of there by Lambert. He looked to clear and did get it out to center. McDougall sends it ahead, and Lucic picks it up for Fort Wayne. Carrying it back into the neutral zone. There's a couple of seconds remaining on the Comet penalty, but we're down to 1:15 to go in the third. And listen to him in the Omni. And wait till you hear the announcement for 1 minute left. A chaotic crowd here in the Omni, about ready to salute their championship team. 45 seconds.
Fedorkovic is going to the bench. I'm surprised it took so long. Bruce Boudreau's been calling with all this noise in the crowd here, Pat. He's been calling for about 20 seconds for Fedorkovic to come to the bench, and he wasn't able to hear it.
Well, the short-handed Fort Wayne team, Bernie, really here down the stretch, he's had to use Chin and Purvis so much. How much can they have left?
And they were the guys when they got behind 2-0 in the series here in Atlanta. They're the guys that played all the time back in Fort Wayne. They've been certainly used so much that they have to be tired. I mean, I'm tired from flying back and forth and just from sitting out, and that certainly, that under the sails of Fort Wayne with a 5-0 lead, blowing it, losing in a triple overtime. And you can look at so many situations in this whole series that have changed the momentum so many ways that certainly Fort Wayne has had a lot to deal with, especially with a couple of guys now that we talked about, both the Messier and Tiplicop out with injuries. It's been a tough battle for them.
There's John Paris. He is 44 seconds away from being a championship coach.
You know, a lot of guys only get one opportunity to win it all, Pat, and I always get excited as Richard Handler looks on with a big smile on his face. It's not over till it's over, but, you know, good for these people to see the electricity in here has got me speechless. I mean, I love to see stuff like this. I really do.
6 skaters on for Fort Wayne. Their goaltenders on the bench. Puck loose in front. A shot. Oh, Lambert missed the net. It might have been blocked. Rebound. Just eluding Chin. Here's a drive, and it's shot up off the glass by Dupuis, and it winds up back at center. 20 seconds to go. Cummins rolled it ahead. Here's an empty net opportunity for the Knights. They shot it wide. Now another chance goes wide as Tanguay had an opportunity, but it won't make any difference. They count it down in Atlanta. The 1994 IHL Turner Cup champion Atlanta Knights are mobbing one another here on home ice.
As I said earlier, and watch what's going to happen, I think that Mr. Paris, someone's going to get the Gatorade treatment. I don't know who it is. I think he's looking for John Paris. I'm not sure. Isn't the coach the one that's supposed to get the water? McDougal is looking for it. If we can follow the camera, watch the Gator. There it goes. But as I said, some guys only get the opportunity once in a lifetime to win a championship. And this is a wonderful spot for a lot of young people in an organization that's only 2 years old. The Tampa Bay Lightning, only 2 years in the National Hockey League. This is their #1 affiliate. And some of these guys may never get another opportunity to win a championship, Pat. And it's got to be really, really exciting for all these guys.
Hockey is the fastest, I think, the greatest sport in the world, and this is something that this sport has that nobody else has. This is the greatest tradition in sports, I think. A bitter, hard-fought series, and when it's over, whether you win or you lose, you line up and congratulate the other guy.
Isn't that true? You try to, you'll do anything to them. You'll run your stick through them when you're playing. But as it's all over, you admire how hard each other, the other guy works across from you. And Fort Wayne certainly has got to be congratulated on putting up a wonderful effort. They got behind 2-0. They came from the bottom of the pack. They were the 8th team this year to make the playoffs, the final team to make it to the Turner Cup playoffs. And here they are in the final, and they put up a brilliant effort.
So the players continue to exchange handshakes and greetings after the final horn sounds. And I don't think that the city of Atlanta has ever won a title in any sport. I think there might have been a soccer team somewhere along the line that might have done something, but football, baseball, basketball, they've been trying to sell a minor league sport in a major league town here for the last couple of years. Tonight they set the all-time playoff attendance record, and Atlanta Knights have brought this city its first championship of any note.
Well, that's for sure. And, it could be portrayed in whatever you want, whether it's a minor league or not. But, I mean, there's a lot of people here that are going to follow a lot of these kids into the big time. And just the opportunity to watch some of these guys is going to be really wonderful for them. And as you said, it's a championship. I don't care what kind of championship. It is a championship, and it's something that the city of Atlanta should be very proud of. And obviously, as we see almost 13,000 people here cheering
They win Game 6 by a score of 3-1. Back for more in a moment. I'll tell you what, Bernie, I've just seen one. This is the first IHL game I've seen in 14 years. I worked in this league in the Grand Rapids Owls with their team in the late 70s. And this is the first game I've seen in 14 years. At that time, the IHL was a couple of rungs down the ladder. They used to say the NHL is the Big Apple, the American League is the Crab Apple, and IHL hockey was applesauce. But that's not the case anymore. I was impressed with the skill of these players, the determination that they showed, and I think that there's a couple of guys who played in this game tonight who might eventually wind up as NHLers.
Oh, there's no question about that. There's so many guys, and there it is, the presentation coming up. Now, I don't know if that is the MVP player. Is that Greenlay, or is that's Greenlay? He did get the most valuable player of this year's playoffs. And why does that always happen? Something always falls out the top.
They forget to tape that top down.
But he certainly deserves it, and there's another guy, J.C. Bergeron, that was the number one guy all year, that certainly came in and won a big game when Mike Greenlay got to go for a little rest in Game 4, but well-deserved MVP of the 1994.
And now they're about to present the big hardware, the Turner Cup. There's the commissioner, and the captain, Stan Drulia, will anxiously get that into his palms and share it with his teammates and their fans.
Well, in my opinion, there's the guy that made this all happen, too. I've watched him from the start of this series. The guy has been unbelievable. He's been back-checking, forechecking. He's scored beautiful goals. He's set up plays. He has done it all. And if anybody was ever worthy to be a captain of a club, that gentleman has been... There's been no equal to him in providing that task.
Okay. All right.
So the Atlanta Knights
This is the real deal.
huddled around.
Richard, Charles, David.
You can see all the smiles. There's a familiar face. He often looks awful like his brother Wayne. Brent Gretzky there.
And here now is the Turner Cup. Maybe that was Drew. Was that the MVP for Drulia? They've given out awards to everybody here.
The one must be for the top goaltending. That's the went to Bergeron and Greenlay. Maybe that's what it was.
I think they agreed with you that this team might not be here without Drulia. I think he was the MVP.
He was my pick the whole time. I thought he played better than no one else. He played better than no one else did out there. And
let's listen to Tom Barry, the commissioner.
5 years I've been commissioner. 4 times the second-year club has won it, and here it is tonight again. Congratulations to the Turner Cup champions, Atlanta Knights.
And let's have the parade.
great traditions of ice hockey, holding that cup up and skating around so that everybody can get a good look at it. Everybody, before they get around that ice once, is going to get to touch it. Every player on that Atlanta team is going to touch that cup.
Well, we've enjoyed bringing you this final game. My thanks to Bernie Federko for walking me through this, and it's been a pleasure to be on hand here in Atlanta to watch this contest and the great enthusiasm shown by the home team and their fans. Hockey alive and doing very well here in Atlanta.
It certainly is, and it's wonderful to see. Hockey is the greatest sport. You and I have been involved with it for a long time, and we love it dearly.
Doesn't make any difference, Bernie, what level you're at, what league you're in. These guys played for a young developmental team for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so a great future looks to be in store. For Bernie Federko, Pat Foley, hoping you enjoyed the broadcast. Once again, the final score, Atlanta beat Fort Wayne 3-1. The Knights are the Turner Cup champions for '94.